F. F is for faith. By what means does the believer live in the reality of God's presence in their personal affairs and in the affairs of the world around them? It is by faith. Faith is the means by which a believer experiences spiritual realities that God has made happen, is making happen in the moment, and promises to make happen. Faith can be likened to a lens through which the believer makes sense of reality, wearing God's lens so that you can see what He wants you to see or how He wants you to see. The 11th chapter of the letter to the Hebrews, known as the chapter of faith, describes faith as the substance of things hoped for. When you wear this lens of faith, you will see the substance of what you are yet hoping for and take hold of it by faith. And faith is the evidence of things not seen. With the lens of faith as your spiritual eyesight, you will see the evidence of something which your ordinary eyes cannot see. So the believer is righteous by faith, lives or walks by faith, and prays by faith. Righteous by faith because they trust God completely and in the work that He has done through Christ on the cross to make way for our salvation. He already makes clear that all human righteousness attained by our own effort cannot make one appear righteous before God. But there is a righteousness of God which is by faith of Jesus Christ unto all and upon all them that believe. Just as Abraham, the father of faith, had faith in God, he believed God and it was counted to him as righteousness. The righteousness by faith becomes more manifestly real when one lives by faith or walks by faith. It was said of Abraham in the chapter of faith that he was called by God to leave the land which he then lived, and he obeyed by faith, not knowing where he was going. He obeyed and moved by faith, trusting God completely. When you trust God and He gives you clear direction through His word, you obey by faith even when it runs contrary to conventional wisdom, because faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of God. So the righteous person lives by faith, so that when you look at yourself through the eyes of faith, you see someone of value, created in the image of God, a sinner saved by grace, and saved to walk in righteous paths designed for you by God. And when you look at your neighbor through the lens of faith, what do you see? Someone with great value because they are made in the image of God and whom Christ laid down His life for on the cross. And when you look at the world around you through the lens of faith, of course, you see a world which God created and sustains and in which He still rules. So despite the chaos you see in the world around you and perhaps in your personal life, you believe that still God rules in the affairs of men. And He says to you in the midst of the storm, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." What our ordinary eyes see is real. What our minds think is real. But God has greater realities that we can only make sense of through the lens of faith. We are told that Sarah received strength to conceive seed, and she bore a child when she was past the age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. In praying by faith, we hold on to God's promises, that even though a situation looks like there is no way out, one prays because they know God is able to make a way where there seems to be no way. And God honors the prayer of faith. Faith continues to hold on like Sarah did. Even when time passes, faith understands that God's time is best. And because faith is a gift from God and can sometimes be drowned by the realities that surround us, Jesus promises you, like He said to Peter, "I have prayed for you, that your faith should not fail." And when your faith is failing, you can always pray like a man who needed healing for his child from Jesus did. He prayed, "Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief." Faith is an antidote to worry and anxiety and definitely fear. Jesus promises that in the world we will have tribulation. But He also promises saying, "Cheer up, because I have overcome the world." It is only by faith that we can experience the cheerfulness which Jesus commanded. Of the heroes of faith it was said, "These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, were assured of them, embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on earth." They believed God's promises because even though their ordinary eyes could not see it, they could see it through the lens of faith. It is by faith that hope is strengthened. That is why Jesus wants you to persevere in faith, so that you will be a positive answer to His question that when the Son of Man comes, will He really find faith on earth? F is for faith.